Hi, YouTube. Thank you so much for coming to my live stream. I'm really excited for us to watch this video today. I think it's a really interesting topic. We've heard it all before within the MLM context, but it's a video from our friend at Your Virtual Upline, Bob Heilig, and he's going to tell us whether or not a recession is good or bad for network marketing. So, really excited for that. I hope everyone had a great week. I'm really excited for it to be the weekend. We don't really have any big plans at all, but it was a long week. I'm excited for a bit of a break. So, I see a couple friends are already in here, so we are going to get started. This is the video. Oh, hi, friends. Hi, Live Panic. Thank you for joining. Yay. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Charlie. Oh, look at all these friends. Hi, Mark. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And then, hi, Gary. Hi, friends. So, we've talked about Your Virtual Upline. Can you see my mouse? No. This is Bob Heilig, and you can see on his t-shirt, it says, "Don't just build a downline, build a better world." He's telling us for our business 2020. So this video is 2 years old. Remember that. And this is his first time using StreamYard. So I know weird connection issues, but it's on his end. Unless my face is freezing. If the video is freezing, it's on his end for sure. Hi, Heather. Thank you. Lisa, I called you Heather. Hi, Lisa. I'm Heather. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for. Okay. So, am I good to go? Yes, I'm good to go. And he's going to just pause and stare at the screen for like 10 seconds. And I thought it was funny. So we're going to show that part too.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Bob here,
Bob, cut that out. Cut that part out. It's okay if you don't know how to use StreamYard, but cut the like 12 seconds out where you're just staring at the screen. Cut it out, Bob.
Virtual Upline, and welcome to the broadcast today. So I just want to warn all of you ahead of time. This is my first time using StreamYard, which I know a lot of you have probably been using. It's a new streaming, it's not new, but it's a streaming platform software. And we are going live right now in 6 different places. So this could either be really cool or it could go horribly wrong. But in any event, we'll get a shot and see. But thanks for being here today. So today I want to actually talk about is an economic recession, is that good or is it bad for network marketing?
That is a commercial. That's rude for the commercial, and we'll get going. Oh no. Technical difficulties, yay. So what do we think he's going to say? I think I'll make my face smaller. What do we think he's going to say? Whether or not the recession is bad for network marketing? What do you think? Because we know in MLM, people are taught to prey on the vulnerabilities of those around them. So let me know your thoughts in the comments.
A lot of the signs that we're starting to see today are pointing and hinting at we may be headed into a recessionary period, which it's only really been a matter of time. You know, we've had about a decade of unprecedented economic growth. And there was a report that just came out yesterday about jobless claims that there were 10 million people that filed for unemployment in the last 2 weeks alone, which is the highest number that we've seen since the recession that we went through in 2008 and 2009. And they're predicting that because of the coronavirus and what we're experiencing, that we could see numbers twice as high as what we saw in 2008 and 2009. So here's
During the pandemic in 2020, especially, thousands and thousands of millions of people lost their jobs all over the world. In my city, everything was shut down. Anything that wasn't like a doctor's office or grocery store or bank, like anything that was extremely necessary. What did they call it? What was the word? I don't remember. They had a specific word for it. Everything was shut down. And so many people were losing their jobs. So many people were terrified of how they were going to feed their children, how they were going to pay their rent. Luckily, at the time, I was working in a job where I was in an office by myself most of the time. So we were just sent home in March of 2020, and I was easily able to to transition to working at home, and my job was not in jeopardy, thankfully. But a lot of people were not so lucky, and people everywhere lost their jobs. Yeah. Lisa said essential services. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't remember what I was trying to think of. Hey, thank you for joining. It's always good for MLMs. Yes, human suffering vulnerabilities is always good for MLMs. MLM scumbags taking advantage of a recession. Why am I not surprised? He'll say it's good because people will need extra income during a recession. Yes, yes, you will see. Oh no, please don't. And then Lisa told me essential services. I couldn't remember what the word was. Hey Sherry, thank you for joining. We're watching a 2-year-old video from Bob Heilig, Your Virtual Upline.
the question. Is this going to be good, or is this going to be bad for your network marketing business? And I will tell you, my opinion is this. What will determine if it's good or bad is not actually what's happening in the economy. It's your narrative and the story that you tell yourself about the events that are happening in the world. So let me explain to you what I mean.
So if we were scared if we were in an MLM during COVID-19 and we were worrying about approaching people, it's not because we think it's ethically or morally wrong. It's because we're creating a negative narrative and a negative story about the situation that we're in. It's not that the situation itself is unprecedented and maybe we feel sketchy or we feel like we're doing something wrong. It's just because I think he's going to say later, we are not mentally strong enough to create a proper narrative in our head that will help us build our business. I would like you to do a poll of your viewers on who they think is the best anti-MLMer YouTuber and who is the most knowledgeable anti-MLMer on YouTube. My opinion, let me think. I would think Erin Bees is probably the most knowledgeable because she's been in a bunch of different MLMs, and also Amy Yor. I think those two definitely have, in my opinion, like among the most technical knowledge of the MLM industry that I've seen so far. What do you guys think? All right, we're going to continue.
If we go a period, people are losing jobs, the economy is down. You can look at it one of two different ways. See, the interesting thing is it's always your perspective on the world which ultimately determines whether you win or not. And there will be some people that will create a narrative and create a story that, oh my God, people are losing jobs. People are not going to want to spend money. They're not going to buy my products anymore. They're not going to want to join my team. They're going to want to save. There will be some of you that will create a story and a narrative that's going to cause you to freeze up and not reach out to people about your business. You're going to be
No, a false narrative is not what's causing us to freeze up. It could just be, Bob, that we understand the severity of the situation and how people we're in such a desperate place that like, they were worrying about food, putting food on their table. They were worrying about just being able to buy, like, toilet paper and toothpaste, and they weren't thinking about giving $100, $200 to start a business and then having to purchase overpriced products that they could find that they could find other versions of for cheaper elsewhere. It's not a narrative, it's just us understanding. It's just us understanding the severity of the situation that we're in. You know? Oh, I follow lots of content creators. I don't think this is the time or place to rank them. Yeah, totally. I totally agree. That's fair. Yeah, probably Aaron, but I love every one of you and your different perspectives. Totally. Agree, Aaron is the most knowledgeable. Yeah, everyone brings like something else, something new and something that's like unique to them. And I appreciate that everyone kind of like they have their own style and their own like way of presenting their commentary and their information. And I think like what depends on the kind of information you're looking for, you'll be able to find a creator that like matches what you're looking for with commentary and then content and then like the companies that you're interested in. There's really some for everyone. Paparazzi had a super spreader event. Shame on them. Consultants died. Yeah, totally. And yeah, Sean Munger's a good one as well.
Become less confident about sharing your products because people are going to say, well, I don't know if they're going to have the money to buy my stuff. I don't know if they're going to have, how are they going to start a business if they're, struggling, they're taking pay cuts, they're losing their jobs. And some of you are going to create a story and a narrative, which by the way, is really nothing more than a belief that now is not a great time for you in your business. And here's where this is going to be a big problem for you. When those are the thoughts that you're having, my products are too expensive, people are not going to buy. Here's what I can promise you. You're either not going to take action at all, or you'll take action, but you'll do it in a way that's so weak with no confidence or belief that you're not going to be effective at creating results.
We have to think about the motive when he's telling us this stuff too. He's going to say later that we have to approach people with the intention of just connecting with them and seeing how they're doing and spreading love. However, his motive is to make sure that as much of us as possible stay in the MLM system, even though we're struggling to reach out and share our business during a worldwide pandemic when millions and millions of people are losing their jobs. He wants us to stay in this system, to buy into his training company and to continue to give him money. He's not trying to help us actually solve some kind of moral or ethical dilemma. He wants to tell us that if we are worrying about sharing our business during the pandemic, that it's just because we have some kind of like mental shortcoming and we need to work on changing our negative thoughts into positive thoughts, which is like we have to stop our thoughts before they start and change them into positive thoughts. And we always have to look at the positive aspect of everything, even though in the pandemic it was 1,000% terrible for everybody. People were getting sick, people were dying, people were scared, people were experiencing really, really severe mental health challenges. There is not a positive for the pandemic. There is not. And I really don't like the way that he's twisting the narrative. He's twisting it, and I really don't like it. Oh, yeah. Mac Attack, I watched him years ago, and I just think he's fantastic. He's great. I totally agree, Lisa. MLMs are bottom feeders. Yes.
Now, here's the other interesting side of this coin, though, because there will be other people that will choose, given the same set of circumstances, they'll look at the fact 10 million people lost jobs and they won't think, man, this is going to kill my business. Here's what they're going to think. This is exactly what my business needs. See, because they're going to
So human suffering, widespread unemployment, fear, worrying that your kids are not going to have enough food to eat, worrying about how you're going to pay for your health care. That is exactly what your business needs because we use fear and insecurities to grow our business. A while ago, I watched an income progression. I think I actually put it on my channel, an income progression of Beachbody coaches, and their income like doubled or tripled during 2020 because people were terrified and unemployed and joining Beachbody. And people feel like a failure if they can't be positive regardless of what is going on. Yes. I it's fine to be pissed and it's fine to be scared if you're in a scary, bad situation.
Interpret what's happening in the world, because by the way, that's all your thoughts are. It's just your interpretation of what's happened. And there will be some people that will create a narrative that will say, now is the best time for my business. Now is when people need a plan B. They'll look at an economic recessionary period and they will create a story that I have more confidence and belief now in what I'm offering people than ever. And they won't let the fact that somebody is making less money or lost their job as a reason why they don't reach out. That's the reason why they will reach out.
Okay, so I don't am getting all these commercials. What the heck? Sorry, friends. I will investigate this and figure out why I'm getting all these commercials. Let's keep going.
And in my experience, here's what I've found. It is during recessionary periods that an industry or a profession like network marketing, now is when we excel the most. If I were you, I would be excited about the fact that the economy has stopped going like that. Because you want to know what? When everybody's making money in the stock market and you can't do anything wrong, people are less open to opportunities because they don't feel they need them. When they're
Okay, I should let him finish his thought, and then I'll say what I think.
getting pay increases quarter over quarter, year over the year, they're less sensitive to the insecurity that exists in traditional jobs in corporate America a lot of times. But when things begin to change, when their 401k gets cut in half, when their company issues says, hey, listen, we've got to cut compensation packages next year to adjust for what's happening in terms of corporate earnings, when there's less opportunity in the world, here's what they start becoming more open to: other things, right? They'll remember, hey,
So Charlie just said he's excited about everyone's misfortunes. Yeah, so he's telling us to be excited at this point. He told us to be excited that the economy is going downhill, and that the economy is going downhill. And in reality, what would that mean in practice? That would mean people losing their jobs, right? People's maybe savings for their children's education is going downhill. People's pensions are insecure. People are wondering what to do next. Like, do they have to go back to school to get a new career? What do they need to do next? So he's telling us to be excited about people being unsure of what their future looks like, wondering whether or not they need to change careers, wondering if they're going to be able to send their children to college, to university, whether or not they'll be able to cover their children's medical bills, their own medical bills, whether or not they'll be able to keep an elderly parent in like an old age home or a retirement home. I think telling us to be excited about an economic recession is a terrible, terrible thing to say. He's telling us to be excited about people's suffering and people's pain.
You reached out to me 6 months ago about that business. The timing wasn't right for me then, but now I'm not feeling as sure about my future. I'm looking at my 401k. It's half of what it used to be. And I'm realizing I got to find something that I can control.
Fan Live Export. I used to stream with a friend called Gracious Expectations, and I loved that. I loved streaming with someone else. I thought it was really fun. And so, yeah, it'd be fun to stream with people, but I also really enjoy just like hanging out and chatting by myself too. But thank you for the suggestion. He has to know how predatory this is, but it doesn't stop him. I completely agree, Live Panic. It's terrible. We've all heard them say things like this, but I think that the fact that he's twisting it around, telling us that it's our fault and we're somehow deficient if we don't want to push our business during that time, that we are like deficient and we have to work on ourselves, when in reality we're just reacting in a reasonable manner to a really terrible situation.
I don't have control over my paycheck. I don't have control over the stock market, but you want to know what I do have control over? I have control over my own efforts and my own initiative to go out and build a business for myself. So what I want you really to think about is this. as the world and the news starts throwing all these negative things at you, telling you how bad it's going to be, how bleak it's going to be, the choice that you have to make is really standing guard at your mind and determining how are you going to interpret this happening. Are you going to view it as a good thing or a bad thing? Because here's
A bad thing, sir. It's a bad thing. I'm going to view it as a bad thing.
the secret of success. The only difference between those that succeed and fail, they go through all the same challenge and adversity. They got to deal with all the same things, but they choose to see it in a different light. They choose to have a different narrative. And it is that narrative. It is not the fact that people lost jobs that will determine whether you're successful or whether you fail. It is your thoughts about the fact that people lost jobs. So here's what I want to do.
I agree and I disagree. I think and to some extent, we do have some control over our thoughts. If we notice a negative thought starting and we're able to catch it earlier, I think we do have some autonomy to change our thought patterns. However, if we could control every single thought we have, then no one would struggle with anxiety or depression or have intrusive thoughts or just get stuck in toxic thought patterns, and no one would need to go to therapy to work on those intrusive thoughts and getting out of those cycles. And he's just assuming that everyone has the ability to just stop anxiety and fear in its tracks and just automatically change it into something positive. And I don't appreciate as well the idea of just ignoring a negative thought, because if we don't address our stress and anxiety, it could potentially blow up in a really, really negative way. And his what am I trying to say? His motive, he's telling us to ignore anxiety and just be positive so we stay in the system longer and keep giving him money. Mm-mm. Van Live Export, you'd love to see me do a live with Sean Munger. Yeah, he's cool. I liked him. I liked his Amway videos for sure. Nobody wants you or my MLM or your MLM. Either way, no one wants your MLM, especially during COVID-19, especially during a recession. If people can't afford to put food on their table, please don't try to scheme them, bring them into your pyramid scheme. Don't do it.
I want to give all of you a lot of confidence and belief that regardless of what happens, it's going to be a great. But I want you to create the narrative that if things
that was on his end, it was not me.
do continue to go the way they are, and by the way, it's likely they'll get worse before they get better. Well, this is going to mean a very good thing for your business. When we look back in the history of the modern day history of our world, some of the biggest and some of the best companies in the world were started during the worst economic times. And you want,
Sir, Bob Heilig, please cite your sources. Which companies were started during the worst economic times? And pitching your MLM business to someone during the pandemic is not starting your own business. It's trying to bring someone in as a member of your downline. It's not actually starting a business. It would be different if you were starting a business during COVID-19 to meet like a need for someone, like say you opened up a low-cost grocery store because people weren't making much money and still needed to eat, right? You opened up a grocery store to meet a real need that people had during that time, and you were not pulling them into a system where they're going to lose money. You were just trying to provide a much needed service. And this low cost grocery store was not designed to exploit vulnerable people. Yeah, joining an MLM will make things worse for 99.7% of those who join. These MLM gurus are the lowest of the low. I totally agree. Businesses or companies are more likely to go broke during a downturn. Yeah, probably. I don't actually know if that's true, but it makes sense. What he's really asking is, how willing are you to capitalize on this worldwide crisis to grow your downline? Right? I had a victory garden in the summer of 2020. I gave away the produce. It made me happy. Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful. And if you, Charlie, if you had started your own small business and you charged people reasonable prices for produce, and it was like, say, lower than what they could have gotten at like Sobeys or whatever, Loblaws, that's lovely. That's helpful and that's meeting a need. But if you had started a small business with your victory garden, you're not trying to exploit people. You're trying to actually help people. Ugh. Calm down. It's okay.
Want to know why? Because when everybody else in the world was seeing nothing but fear and lack and like the world was falling apart, visionary entrepreneurs, leaders stay calm and centered during times when everybody else is freaking out. And they always have a contrarian point of view to know that it's when everybody else is freaking out that if they can remain calm and centered and positive and taking action despite everybody else doing something different, that's when the opportunity is. So here's a good thing for some of you over.
So did you hear when he said when people are freaking out and in a mindset of lack or something? So wait, are you saying that people who were scared during the pandemic and worried about feeding their children, did they just have like a lack mindset? They didn't have an abundance mindset. And so people who struggled during the pandemic, if they just improved their mindset, then they wouldn't have struggled anymore. Is that what you mean, sir? And did he just say that visionary entrepreneurs stay calm and ignore the thoughts of those around them who have a negative outlook on the world, stay calm and just continue on with their business? So instead of him saying congratulations for maintaining your boundary and working your MLM business in a way that works for you during the pandemic, instead of saying that, he's saying only those who are visionary entrepreneurs will continue to push their MLM during the pandemic. And anyone who does not, you just don't have the vision, you're just not an entrepreneur. While in reality, it's an adult establishing a boundary, maintaining the boundary, and working the business in the way that they want to work it. Entrepreneurs do not join MLMs. I agree. But they're sold the dream of like, if you join, you will be a small business owner. MLMs have been trouble from the beginning. I totally agree.
For the 2020 is going to be the best year you've ever had to truly stand out. This is going to be the year where you're going to go back to a lot of these prospects that have told you no because it wasn't the right time because they didn't have a need, that now they're going to be open. And I bet you 5-10 years.
Gary, I love it when you call these dudes sir. It snaps like a lash. Yeah, it bothers me. I feel like I say sir when I'm getting like a little bit sassy, but it bothers me. It's so rude and it's so predatory. Everything he's saying.
Years from now.
When you advertise with Google.
Fuck. Sorry. I don't know why I'm getting all these commercials. It's okay. I'll get over it. I won't swear every time.
A lot of this advice. You're going to look back and you're going to thank God for 2020. And I don't mean that in an insensitive way, like what we're going through, people are dying and they're losing lives. I'm not talking about that. Okay, it's a tragedy. I'm just talking about the opportunity that exists, because here's what I know for sure. Inside of every adversity and challenge lies the seed of great opportunity if you choose to see it.
Oh my gosh. Aren't these mental gymnastics just so fantastic? Thank God for 2020. You're going to thank God for 2020, but not the people who were sick and dying. No, but the opportunity that the sick and dying brought you for your business. What? So you're telling people that they're going to look back and say, thank God for the worst year in the history of the entire world. What? Huh? That's awful. That's awful. I hate it. Now I'm getting annoyed. Sir, that God, Huh? Oh, Mark, do you mean thank God you told him no? Yeah, totally. The pandemic was in fact very good for MLMs, but that peak definitely leveled off. Because people realized what they had gotten into and they got out when they realized it was a scam. Hi, Johnny. Thank you for coming. I'm a little bit annoyed at Bob right now, but I'm really happy you're here. Like the way you read every comment in your line. Yeah, I think it's easy for me to read every comment because I don't get that many, because I have a small group of people who watch every time, which I'm really grateful for. But people who have like hundreds and hundreds of people, they can't read every comment. I think 2020 was the worst year in most of our lives, and I'm not thankful for it. Nope, I am not as well. You are totally right. Some live streams have hundreds of chatters. Yes. I think the most I've ever had here is like 16, which I was really stoked for. I love having anyone in my chats, but I definitely don't get that many comments.
A lot of people will not see it because they'll be so focused on their fearful thinking and having a narrative that holds them back. And your challenge is not to be that way. Look, this is what leaders are for. Like a lot of you, and I'm going to just be real with you. You've never actually led people your entire life in terms of your business. Like if you've started a business just in the last 5 years, most of you have never had a chance to actually lead people.
How do you know? How do you know? Do you watch me day to day? Like, are you in my living room when I'm working my business? How do you know, Bob? How do you know? Mark says we're small but mighty. Yes, and I'm thrilled that anyone watches my live streams at all. And yeah, it's fantastic. And I like Band Live Export that you like that I try to address every single comment. Not every single one, but I try to. This guy is very insulting. I agree, Johnny. Some of us don't want to be leaders, Bob. Yeah, especially if it means doing really unethical things during a pandemic when people are dying.
And you want to know why I know that's true? Because leaders show up when things are not going well. Anybody can lead when things are going well. The true leaders will show their stripes when things are not going well.
I hate that he's assuming that people who are watching him are not true leaders because they don't show their stripes when things aren't going well, and also insinuating that those who slowed down with their business in 2020, it doesn't mean that they're just following their moral compass. It means that they are bad leaders, that they're not entrepreneurs, and that they're not visionaries. And I really hate that. I hate that so much because in MLM, I feel like you can't just establish and maintain a boundary. That's seen as negative. Having a boundary is negative, while in reality, it's a great thing to maintain your boundaries. This guy is making me so mad. Yes, I totally agree. Hi, DC. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. We're talking about Bob Heilig from a video 2 years ago, where he's telling us, is the recession brought about by the pandemic a good thing or a bad thing? And then Lift Panic said hi to DC. Hey, DC, check her out. Yes, thank you, Mike. Go subscribe to DC. She is fantastic and great. And then Johnny said hi to DC. I do not know his background. No, I have not tried to look into him, and I don't know, like Fraser, if he had like a parent in MLM or not. I think when we looked at his website, he had connections with Ray from like 2015. Oh, Bob, yep.
And if you understand that, you realize this is an opportunity for you to show your team and show the world, I'm a leader. Raise your hand. Here's the reason why you're following me. So that's what I want you to think about.
I was trying to give him a thumbs down, but I couldn't find it in the camera. Boo.
Here. As all of this negative news and all this stuff gets dumped on you, I want you to watch the narrative you create. I want you to mind your thoughts. Understand it's always just a perspective. If you have negative thoughts.
Hi, Carol. Chill. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what that means, but I'm really happy you're here and thank you for joining. I can see the resemblance to Ray cut from the same cloth. Yes.
That's going to create negative results in your life 100% of the time. But if you understand that you're not your thoughts, you are the thinker of your thoughts. You get to decide how you interpret what's going on in the world. If you choose a positive interpretation, see, we have a word for these in our community. Negative thoughts, we call them red lights. When you think a negative thought, it creates a red light, a stop sign. You don't take action.
That's not true. I think negative thoughts constantly. I'm working on that actively in therapy. That's not true. I constantly have negative thoughts, and then I go and address them with my mental health professional, and then we create an action plan to address those thoughts or like my negative behaviors, you know? And I really don't like that. He's going to tell us later that he can help us in his community turn our negative thoughts into positive ones. That's the job of a mental health professional, and if you are unable to access one, that could be the job of like your spouse or a trusted loved one if you cannot afford mental health help. I hate that. I hate that so much. So many people in MLMs are moms, and in my opinion, moms are leaders. Yes, you are totally right, Johnny.
But if you become conscious of your thoughts and you say, I'm not going to let these negative thoughts hold me back anymore. I'm going to look for the positive. I'm going to choose.
Yes. Sometimes you have intrusive thoughts and they're just there and you can work through them, but every thought doesn't have to have meaning. And some intrusive thoughts you're able to get out of them on your own and without professional help, of course. Not necessarily insinuating that, but I think if you're having intrusive thoughts that are impacting your day to day, then you may need to seek help. And there's nothing wrong with seeking help. And Bob Heilig on the internet is not going to be able to help us move away from our intrusive thoughts. Yeah, we needed a good shot of toxic positivity. God, I hate him. Yeah, I don't know, Bob. I really dislike how he's acting in this video. I think he's being really unethical and terrible. But I don't know who he is as a person. I'd like to think that he is like a good parent, a good spouse, a good friend, a good son, but it's really hard. I said this recently. It's really, really hard to have compassion when people are being so awful. Do you know what I mean? He's still a human, even though he's saying bad things. He knows that 99% of people are losing, but he does not care. Moms simply make stuff happen. Obs. True, Gary, true. Everyone is always a leader. So hard leaving MLM and toxic church culture where every thought was either hurting you or helping you and adding to some kind of karma bank. Oh. And that relates to your point before about not every thought has to mean something deep, and sometimes thoughts just come and go. There's not always a meaning to them. That's a good point.
Use a different perspective. If you can consciously choose positive thoughts, those are green lights. And green lights mean go. And at the end of the day, here's the only difference between those of you that will fail and those of you that will succeed. The ones that succeed will create more green lights than red lights. And I want you to understand this is a habit. And here's what's so interesting about this. Either way, you're just making up a story.
Fuck. Stupid commercials. I don't like that he's talking about if we have a thought that is not perfectly positive time, that it's just a story and there's no validity in that thought. And of course, like DC was just saying that like thoughts don't always have a deeper meaning, but some of them do, and some of them are based in reality and some of them are not, of course. And we're not just making up a story, we're having feelings, which is a normal experience, everyday experience, and it's not a bad thing to have feelings. Classic toxic positivity. I totally agree, Charlie.
All thoughts are just stories and belief stories. You're going to make up a story that's either going to hold you back or help you move forward. why would you want to make the story up that's holding you back? Because that's what most of you have been doing your whole life. So start creating more green lights, change the narrative.
Our thoughts are not what will make us either succeed or fail in our biz. I can't believe I missed that. Thank you, Lift Panic. So yeah, he could come back and tell us if we don't make any money, well, you just have too many red light thoughts, red light stories in your head, and that's why you're failing. You need to have toxic positivity. Literally stop your negative thoughts, stop them in their tracks, and turn them into positive thoughts. That's a great point. He just ruined the game red light, green light for me. That was my favorite game as a kid. It was so fun. That and Flinch. Did you guys ever play Flinch where you stand in a circle, someone's in the middle with a ball, and they'll like pretend to throw at you, and if they pretend to throw it at you and you move to catch it, then you're out, or if they throw it at you and you drop it, then you're out. That was my favorite.
Because if you have positive thoughts, you'll feel better, you'll be more likely to reach out and take action. Hey, listen, if you need some help in this area, I have a program. It's called the Legacy Leadership Academy. It is the first ever leadership certification program for network marketers in the world. And as a way to give back to all of you, to this profession, we have opened it up for free for the month of April. So you can join. You can go to legacyleadershipacademy.com. I'm going to pop it up here real quick. You go to, first time using StreamYard, guys, be patient with me. Probably should have done this beforehand. Okay, cool. All right. So you can go to legacyleadershipacademy.com/free. On Instagram, you can't see that, but we are offering full access to the program for free, no credit card needed, no upsells. This is just my way to give you access to training that I know can literally change your business and change your life. Every single person in this profession needs this. Share that link with your teams, sign up, get in there. We've got some incredible training. And the first thing that we're going to do.
Sure, he's not going to upsell you, but we know the whole purpose of we know the whole purpose of these free trainings is to get you like hooked on the content and make you think that there's no way that you'll be able to succeed in your MLM business without that training. And then you're going to go and you're going to pay for the paid training. So Mark just said, yeah, but it's an upsell. It is, because the whole purpose will be to get you into paid training.
Is we're going to help you with your mindset. I'm going to teach you how to start creating more green lights, how to start creating a narrative that doesn't hold you back, but propels you forward. And I think that's more important now than ever, but step up the leader. And if you need some help, that's what we do. So, okay.
It sounds eerily similar to what a therapist might help you do, right? A therapist might help you try to work through your negative thoughts to be able to function day to day and develop coping mechanisms to, in his own words, have more green light stories. So I really don't like how he's making up a deficiency that we have. He doesn't actually know us. He doesn't know if we all have lots of red light stories. He does not know, but he's assuming we all do. So his free course can meet this need that we may or may not have.
Cool. So, hey, listen, we've got some time here. We're on this new platform, StreamYard. Hope you guys are enjoying the user experience. If you got any questions for me, maybe we can take a couple of questions while we're streaming here, and I can hopefully not screw up the functionality of this. But if you've got any questions, let me know. Jesse, over here on Instagram, the link is legacyleadershipacademy.com/free, and you can sign up there right now. So let me see. Any questions here on the stream? Anything I could help you with? Maybe we'll take a couple of questions. People are asking me what kind of shampoo that I use. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you, but let's see here. Any questions at all? I don't see any questions coming in, but hey, listen, guys, I'm doing this new live show every Tuesday through Friday at noon Eastern. So if this is
I'm not one to talk about production value clearly. Like my lighting is like a crappy little lamp here, and like all my videos have zero production value. But this man is a professional, and like his background is nice. His light, like it looks professional, but then his connection is terrible. And I understand this is the first time using this platform for him, but I'm not sure why he wouldn't do like test streams on private with like members of his like company team, like his employees, to actually like test this out beforehand and figure out how he could have a better connection. Because he markets himself off as a professional.
This is your first time tuning in, I'm going to be using StreamYard. So wherever you're watching from, I don't know which platform you're on, you can continue to watch. I'll use this. We go live noon every Tuesday through Friday. So hopefully you start that up here. So we have a question here about when the program starts. So the program is actually an ongoing program. So whenever you join, you'll start at that particular period in time. Every single month, we have what we call a new mission, a training mission. There are 12 missions that make up the certification process. Every month you get a mission.
Thoughts on certification? I think it's making it seem more legitimate than it actually is, and maybe making people think that they can put it on their resume and that it might help them in the future. It's not a certification. You're just making it up. Why is he making such a big deal about StreamYard? I don't know. Like, it was kind of like first time I tried to do StreamYard, like it is a bit stressful if you're not good at technology. But I think literally after like 1 or 2 streams, I started to figure it out. It's not that big of a deal, Bob.
So when you join, our April mission, which comes out on Monday, is on recruiting business builders. So I'm going to be teaching you a way to go out and find, attract, and recruit the kind of leaders that you want into your team, which, by the way, now more than ever, I think now's the time that you should be thinking about that. So, yeah, so the platform that I'm using, guys, if you're wondering, is called StreamYard, StreamYard. It is.
Why are you spelling it out? Doesn't it tell it? Oh, no. So it looks like you did the paid version of it. So there's no like StreamYard logo or anything, but why are you spelling it out for us? Of course it's on recruiting. Of course it is, right?
Is probably one of the easiest platforms to use for streaming. I've been having a little issues with Zoom because I think they're getting so inundated. So we've been kind of fooling around with that. So Martina has a question here that I'll bring up here. So how do I show this here? Let's see.
Sorry, friends. So he's bringing up Martina's question.
So Martina's question is, should we be advertising our product on Facebook now? Here's advice to you, Martina. Thanks for the question. And if you've not been following me, you probably haven't heard me talk about this. Here's where I think the opportunity is right now for all of you, okay? It's not that I don't think you should be selling and recruiting. I do think you should. But I do not think you should be leading with selling and recruiting. And those...
Pay attention to his level of mental gymnastics here. He's saying we have to recruit and sell, but we cannot lead with recruiting and selling. Yeah, at least he's being honest. Amway always lies and say that the business is not about recruiting. Advertise the product, but don't advertise the company. Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. What he's gonna say is really weird.
Those of you that are posting on Facebook and reaching out to prospects like it's business as usual, like nothing has changed, I think it's a huge mistake. Because I think the bigger opportunity right now is for you to connect with people at a human level before you try to sell and promote. So another way to say that is what I think people...
Connect with people at a human level, so they think that maybe they made a new friend during the pandemic, and connect with them with the intention of pitching them the product or the opportunity later. But as long as you do the connecting first, then you're fine, and everything you're doing is moral and ethical.
People need right now isn't another sales pitch or marketing promotion. They just need to know that somebody else out there cares about them. They need love and hope and positivity. So when you
So we were just talking about the financial vulnerability and the physical health vulnerability that people were experiencing. Now we're talking about the community, like Charlie just said, we need a community so badly. Yep. Lisa said the fake friendship tactic. Yep. We pretend that we care about this person. He's going to tell us to ask them how they're doing during this crazy, terrible time. And you're doing that with the intention of pitching them later. If you have an underlying motive to a communication, it is automatically inauthentic. Yeah, it's automatically not authentic, and it's automatically fake. This is fake, Bob.
Join our program, one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to initiate you by teaching you something we call love, serve, grow. It is a radical way to prospect people, and it is more important now than it's ever been. So here's my advice to you. If your intention of reaching, sell, and recruit, don't even bother reaching out to them, because your success rate will be very low. But if your intention, first and foremost, is to reach out and connect with people and let them know that you love and care at a human level, if that's your intention, if you lead with that, hey, I was thinking about you the other day, Martina, how you dealing with all this craziness? And you connect with them at that level first, you will find that the opportunities you have to sell and recruit will be 10 times greater than the.
Do you think he actually believes what he's saying? So he's saying, as long as you connect with them on a personal level first, you'll have more opportunities to recruit them later. Did you think he actually believes that this is a good thing, that he thinks he's teaching us some brilliant, different way? We know that MLM distributors are taught to see everyone as a dollar sign, are taught to see every conversation as an opportunity to turn someone into a prospect. And that's literally what he's telling us to do here. It's just a slightly different method. It's instead of just sending out cold messages saying, hey, join my business, you could be sending out cold messages to someone you know or don't know and saying, hey, I'm thinking about you. How's it going? That person could think that maybe they're making a new friend, and they could be experiencing really severe mental health struggles or their first experience with mental health challenges at all during the pandemic, and think that they have a friend. And then 3 days later, you're going to hit them with join my pyramid scheme.
The person that does it the other way. Look, everybody is doing it the way we talked about first. They're using this as an excuse, almost like in an I told you so kind of way. Like, oh, here's my products. I told you should have taken them. Here's my business. I told you should have. Look, that doesn't work. It never works. And what you're doing when you're doing that, you're doing more harm than good. See, the reason why, and I'm gonna just be honest with you right now. The reason why some of you are so bad at selling and recruiting, it's because you are terrible at building relationships with people.
You don't know me, Bob. You don't. Why are you making up some fake deficiency that I have that you don't actually know is true? And then you're going to spin it to make it seem like your freaking service is the only answer. You do not know. Her saying, should we advertise on Facebook, Martina, is not her stating that she can't make relationships. She was asking you a question. A question. And then Johnny liked Charlie's joke. I liked it too, Charlie. That was funny. These people never quit. Totally agree. I hate it. I hate it so much. I listened to this like 10 times today while working, and I just kept getting more and more angry.
Now, that might hurt, but it's the truth. All you do is try to take. And Martina, I'm not picking on you, okay? I'm just, the question got me my soapbox here. But here's been your problem, most of your business. All you want to do is take. All you want to do is ask. Like when.
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? I'm going to say it 100 times. Let's let him talk.
When you reach out to someone, it's always like a veiled attempt at making small talk just to be able to get to your pitch.
Sorry. No. Sorry. So what he used to attempt at small talk before making our pitch, he literally wants us pretend that we care about them on a human level, pretend that we care about their well-being, and then go in for the kill. So what he's telling us not to do is literally what he told us to do before. It's the exact same thing. Johnny just said pot meets kettle. Yeah, it's the exact same thing, Bob. He's sounding more like Ray now. I totally agree.
Here's a good question. When's the last time you reached out to somebody just to see how they were, not with the intention of selling and recruiting? See, what a lot of you realize is you've tried to take so much, there's nothing left in the accounts, the relational accounts you have with people. You have to start making deposits. You got to look, this is your chance to let people know about something more than just making a sale, that you are a human being before a business person. And if you use this, what's happening today, as a reason to reach out and connect with everybody you know, just sharing love and serving or selling, watch what happens to your business.
You're not just sharing love and serving before selling, you're reaching out with an ulterior motive, which is to bring people into your pyramid scheme where they will lose money and they'll become even more vulnerable.
Look, we've been teaching this in our community. We're running a challenge right now, the Love, Serve, Grow Challenge. I have literally dozens of people every day messaging me, posting in our group, saying, you won't believe what's happened in my business since I started doing this. I've made more sales. I've got people that I haven't talked to in years want to buy again, join my business because I stopped leading with selling and promoting. And I just connected with people. And I'm not surprised to hear that because, look, the old adage is true. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. And if you're not being successful, it's because they're not sure that you care about anything more than just making money. So here's your opportunity to be different. So that's my recommendation to you. So Martina, look, you can sprinkle in a promotion here and there. It's not going to make a big deal, but you should be focusing the majority of your time, reaching out and connecting. Go live on your Facebook profile, not talking about your business or your products. Just share something that can be positive, that can help someone, a little moment of inspiration or hope. That's the stuff that's going to help you get more of what you actually want.
And I wonder if you will teach people to do certain hashtags like COVID connections or something, or like hashtag mental health. And if we're supposed to use those live videos as a way to attract really vulnerable and sad and stressed out people to your page, and then you get to know them. And like Johnny said, act genuine, here's your script. You get to know them with a script that your upline will probably give you. And then you go in for the kill and you pitch your business. I hate it. Can you imagine if I wonder how many people actually truly did this during the pandemic and pretended to be someone's friend, pretended to care about them just to bring them into the MLM, knowing that 99% of people during that time were experiencing mental health issues.
So, and we got a bunch of people commenting here now that's are attesting to that they've been doing this and it's been working for them. So, all right.
Of course it has. Sad, lonely, desperate people just seeking out a connection. Of course it did. And it's not a good thing. It's a terrible thing.
So, hey guys, hopefully you like this StreamYard software. Is pretty cool here. It's been a little challenge for me not looking at myself on the laptop, but hey, look, I really want you to get the core of the message I'm sharing with you today. As things continue to get worse in the economy, it's the narrative that you tell yourself that's ultimately going to determine whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing for you. So keep that in mind. And hey, look, if you got any value out of this broadcast, let me know. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And I'll see you again. I should be going live on Monday next week, but it'll be a little later than the afternoon. So thanks for being here, everybody. Hope you got some value out of the message. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
So, what do we think about that, friends? I thought it was pretty terrible. I think Lift Panic said one of the worst trainings that they've heard. I totally agree. I feel like it's probably one of the worst ones I've heard, and I've heard a lot of terrible ones. I think the worst one ever was one I did with Ray Higdon a million years ago, where he mimicked people who have challenges with drug addictions to prove his point. That one was worse, I think. And that one, I was a lot less compassionate and less kind during that one. But I think all these trainings are geared to seeking out vulnerable people with the purpose of exploiting them. But I think the ones that are a little bit worse are just the ones that explicitly tell you how to target vulnerable people and how exactly you make them think that they made a new friend, and then you just swoop in for the kill. I've said it a million times already, swoop in for the kill, but I think this one and the Ray Higdon one from a million years ago on my channel were probably the worst ones. I think that video with Ray, I just titled it like Ray Says We're All Addicted to Training. If you want to go watch that one, was not a stream, is from at least a year ago now, approximately maybe 9 months ago. But that one was worse for me for sure. If you've heard one of those trainings, you've heard them all. And people probably weren't as suspicious of your intent during the pandemic because they may have thought you actually cared about how they were doing. Great point, Lisa. I think, what a dick. Dickhead. Right, Gary? Dickhead. He's a dick. I totally agree. No, he's a dick in this video. He's behaving like a dick in this video. I don't know him in real life. So that was fun. Thank you everyone for joining and hanging out with me and for learning about what Your Virtual Upline wants us, he wants us to wanted us to recruit during the pandemic. I can't talk. I'm going to go live again on Sunday. And I want to talk about an Amway video. I'm really excited for doing another Amway stream. So if you're able to hang out with me then, that would be cool. Lisa said I'll go find that Ray video. Yeah, I was not very nice. That was the only video I've ever made where I was like, obviously not nice. Yeah. Thanks, Heather. Nice job. Thanks, Lift Panic. I appreciate that. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Bye.